My name is Walter Morris. I served in the Army from 1939 to 1946, and this is my story of the opportunities and challenges of being a colored serviceman during World War II. At that time, it was a 13-week course. That was my basic training. I never had my hand on a rifle before. We felt like civilians in Army clothes. The parachute school kind of intrigued me, and I chose that. I was sent to the service company on the main post of Georgia. The parachute school was made up of all colored troops. I use the phrase colored because in the 40s we were designated as colored, and this service company had a white officer with all colored soldiers in it. Our sole function as a service company was to do guard duty for the parachute school and its properties. What was lacking was having the wrong people in the wrong positions. I sat down and made a table of organization for the company and had myself as the first sergeant and had the existing sergeant as a supply sergeant. General Gaither saw these men performing these exercises at a time when the field should have been empty. He immediately called me into his office as he was impressed with their efforts. General Gaither also blasted the existing company commander and made me an official first sergeant in December 1943. Benjamin Davis, a colored general, then lobbied President Roosevelt to start a colored parachute company. He had not seen any colored troops in a combat company, and although resistance was initially met, an agreement to start a company was given, and that is how the 555 Company was started, whose nickname was the Triple Nickel. Under threat of a march on Washington, President Roosevelt arranged to increase the number of colored people in the U.S. forces. The Army then selected 17 additional colored soldiers to join our parachute service company. In total, 20 of us started training, and although most of the other white officers did not want to be associated with us, one did volunteer. We finished training and graduated. The Army selected 6 of us upon graduation, which was really something exciting, as at that time we still could not go into the main post exchange or the main movie theater yet. We could see the German and the Italian prisoners of war drinking cokes and smoking with the other servicemen. Once the course were finished, we proceeded to execute 4-day jumps and then 1-night jump, upon which time we graduated. We were now paratroopers, and the Army opened the dates for us to volunteer. They came by the hundreds to volunteer, and due to this expression, General Gaither, who I called my godfather, asked me to stay at OCS to train more colored officers so that the 555 could expand from a company to a battalion. The 555 Company moved from Fort Benning to Camp McCall in North Carolina, and the 555 official transitioned to a battalion. I was then asked to go to the general school in Fort Sam Houston, Texas, in San Antonio, Texas, for a 6-week course and to be a secretary to the battalion commander. They selected some men to go through the combat course, as we were now going to fight. However, the war ended in Europe, and so we now were targeted to go to the Pacific. Orders came to have us report to Camp Pendleton, Oregon. During this year, there were many forest fires, started by both lightning and the secret Japanese balloons. We became smoke jumpers to fight the fires, which was a letdown, as we were now directed to parachute into trees with shovels to fight the fires. While fighting these fires, I was asked to go to the general store, and as a surprise to us, the hillbillies in the forest knew what we were doing, as an article had been written in the New York Times. A special parachute with an extra slot was created so that we could pinpoint how to target a specific tree with LDR, which is a letdown rope of 50 feet. We had only one fatal injury in 33 individual fires, with 1,200 individual jumps. Once the fire season was completed, we returned to Camp McCall in September of 1945. I did not jump as much as the other members, as I was an officer, but it was mandatory. We jumped at least once every 3 months. In total, I made about 19 jumps. In the end, we wanted to prove to the world that colored troops were no different than white troops. If you had it, you had it.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now.